guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "You Really Can Carry a Clipboard and Get Assumed You Belong." One of my friends runs charity events a few times a year through some non-profits and so has a membership to a local restaurant supply store that only offers memberships to restaurants, businesses, and non-profits. For background, the employees here wear street clothes and either a store jacket or safety vests. I was helping him do shopping for a particularly large event where we were going to be feeding 300 people for several days at a retreat, and so we had a massive list that encompassed visiting 4 separate stores. To keep it all straight and make sure we didn't miss anything, I'd put it on a clipboard and was carrying around a pen and highlighter. I was wearing pretty regular clothes, jeans and a band t-shirt, more casual than the street clothes most employees wore, typically blouses or polos, but I guess I looked like I knew what I was doing. While walking through the store, I was stopped at least twice by people asking me where things were who graciously apologized when I said I didn't work there. Then, as we're debating a couple of options on a shelf, I noticed some poor man who'd been hovering nearby for almost 2 minutes. Thinking we were in the way, I apologized profusely and moved our cart only to find that the poor guy had been waiting to ask me a question that whole time. I told him I didn't work there and he looked from me to my friend and then to my clipboard. Realizing his confusion, I had to explain that it was our shopping list. He didn't seem to understand, so I showed him the list, which, admittedly, had prices and brands on it. We were being thrifty. I'm not sure he believed me as he wandered off still looking confused. The next story is titled "A Grown Man Flirts with Me Thinking I'm a Teacher." So I'm a 5 feet 216 black girl. I am very developed and have been for a while. My boobs often get remarked on and I know they and me always sounding like I swallowed a dictionary makes people think I should have skipped a grade. I was repeatedly confused for being a teacher during the start of high school and told I dress like I teach kindergarten. I understand that notion, because I wear pineapple button-ups and have straightened hair, carry myself with professionalism. I'm glad my efforts get noticed. However, I have my bad days, where all I want to wear is sweatpants and sweaters that swallow my developed body and hides it away from mockery. Today going back to school I felt a strong in-between. I wore something comfortable but professional. But the outfit definitely didn't like something a 16-year-old would wear. It wasn't revealing. It just looked like something that music teacher from Lemonade Mouth would wear. But it to me was a school outfit. Compared to everyone else fresh off break though, I definitely looked more like a teacher. I was with my principal waiting to go get lunch because I'm such a smarty pants and we missed each other, and was sitting with my legs crossed on my computer doing schoolwork. 3 adults come into the office. I have bad social anxiety, especially with adults, but I was going to just tell them that the principal was in the bathroom and would be back soon. Only if I said that, they'd stay here and delay our lunch plans. So I asked what they needed help with. They just needed to find the attendance office. Directed them right to it. And they left. Hooray! I wait for the principal for a while and she isn't coming back. So I go to look for her. She's talking to the group of adults. Apparently they are trying to enroll this kid. I see she's busy and go sit back down. She comes into the office and lets me order the food while she handles them. I wait a long time and get the call that the delivery is almost here. I am ready for pizza. I go to front door and wait for the pizza man. On the steps is an older tall Hispanic man with lots of curly hair. I always wished my hair could be that cool and curly, but it's not. I don't know how to explain the encounter we had, but basically he was smoking a cigarette and tried to hide it. I didn't understand why, but I guessed he was just joking around with me because he recognized me from earlier. Not because he thought I was a teacher and I'd caught him smoking on school grounds. He started to joke around about if I was going to get him expelled. I was very confused at this point and said no, just trying to avoid this conversation entirely. He slid a little closer to me and we actually began having a nice conversation. He swore a few times and stopped himself before waving it off rather animatedly. I swear a lot as well, but I don't tell adults it's okay to swear around me because it's honestly a personal thing for me to be able to curse someone out. Other than that, we are having a pretty nice and chill conversation. Then the pizza guy arrives and I realize I don't have the money on me. I'm about to go back inside, but the guy just pays for me. I thank him profusely and ask if he wants some pizza. He says yes. So while his family is still figuring out enrollment for his who I learn is his nephew, we go back into the principal's office to share a pizza. He tried to get me to go sit in his car with him, but I just thought that was insanely unnecessary and wanted to tell the principal about the pizza being here so she could get some. As we are eating pizza, this guy reaches over and wipes some sauce from my face with a napkin. I pause. What the duck was that? I have had no so pleasant situations around creepy adult men before. So one-on-one time with an adult man who had no reason to be giving me one-on-one time was being up unpleasant memories. If it isn't clear to you by now what's happening, it certainly wasn't clear to me either. I just thought this guy was a nice innocent dude who just wanted to make conversation and get his nephew a friend who knew the school. Not that this guy thought I was a teacher and was flirting with me. I don't get many people flirting with me. I'm the flirter. Jokingly. Anyway, I'm counting down and waiting for lunch to just end so I can go back to class and escape the situation without being awkward about it. When the bell rings, I tell the guy the first have to go to my next class, and he asks for my number. It's not clicking just yet for me, but I am a little creeped out. Still giving benefit of the doubt and thinking he wants it for his nephew. I don't remember what I said, but it was a rejection of giving him my phone number. I guess he thought black girls like to be told twice and got up and got behind my chair. I was freezing up at this point. I didn't know what to do. I'd never been in a situation where someone was this aggressive before. He says something. I don't remember what, because I was 2 seconds away from diving over the table for the door. He tries to rub my shoulders, but I scrunch up real good and slip out from under him. It's awkwardly silent as I just stare at him with a face between a smile and holding back a scream. What the duck? I just say he can have the pizza and I go to my next class. I got called by the principal before writing this asking who he was because he'd come back, or never left, and asked for the pretty little art teacher's name. I told him I liked art, and was met with a tall, bald, buff black man. When he described me, my principal was like, oh her. She informed him that I was a student who helped her out sometimes and wasn't really thinking about the comments he'd made. When she did think about them, she called me. The guy apparently was shocked and asked why I did certain things, and the answers were, she's just helpful like that. She likes to be alone. We were having lunch. She connects easier with older kids, so I try to let her have lunch with her older friends. I don't know what's going to happen, but this was a weird day. Honestly, I don't think the guy's a pedo. I just think his flirting style is a little aggressive. The next story is titled Incompetent Manager Fires the Wrong Guy. After I came back from Kosovo with the US Army, I got lucky once and landed a really great job. I was contracted to work as a liaison in several parts of the world. Our team would basically go somewhere, figure out what needed done, then make it happen. For example, my first assignment was back to Kosovo and several towns needed various construction projects. Things like a bridge over a creek, a town community center, a waste treatment plant, etc. We coordinated with the Army, NATO, the EU, dozens of contractors, and would get the jobs done. We would secure funding, then hire contractors, and in some places we were involved in hiring workers as a means of stimulating the local economy. The first team I worked with was amazing. We were able to get so much accomplished, and genuinely enjoyed working together. We also had to figure out how to do everything. Our instructions were, go to, insert place. Find out what needs done. Get it done. Somehow, we figured it out. Sometimes it was happy accidents. We made $1 million deal because we accidentally ran into the guy we needed to contact for funding in a random bar. We had been trying to find him for days. Found him in a bar, at lunch. Sometime we worked long days, as much as 20 hours. Sometimes on weekends. Sometimes we had very little to do. In our off time we explored the areas, went to bars and restaurants. It was honestly one of the best jobs ever. Anyway, eventually our contracts ran out and I was the only one who signed on for another year. My teammates had families and I was single at the time. When I met the new team, I knew almost instantly that this was going to suck. A team consisted of 4 people, a manager and 3 liaisons. The 2 other liaisons were among the 2 unhappiest people I've ever met, and I could never figure out why. Those guys griped and complained about everything. We all got great pay. Often it was tax exempt. We were generally safe. We usually had fairly comfortable lodging where we went, but they were never happy. One of the places we went, we were easily living in the nicest hotel in the city, with probably the best suites they offered, but the shower doesn't get hot enough and I have to filter water to drink it. We were on the only floor in the building where the suites had their own showers or running water. Even worse than those two guys, was our manager. Whoever taught this guy about leadership should be flogged. He supposedly learned from being an officer in the US Army, and also from his business degree at UCLA, but somewhere along the lines he missed all the lessons about teamwork, management, and literally anything related to managing a team. When we met I told him that I would be happy to help him start building a relationship with all-out contacts and make his transition for the new team as seamless as possible. His response: "I'm in charge of this team. We are going to change some things to start doing it right." Okay. He also decided to lay down the law, again reasserting that he was the boss. Also, the new rules were no consumption or possession of alcohol. No leaving the lodging or workplace in off-duty hours. We worked from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time Monday through Friday. Basically on our off-duty hours we stayed in our rooms or within whatever facility we were lodged in. You're not here to be on vacation, you're here to get your jobs done. We were back in southeastern Europe at the time, and I had a lady friend in town. No way in hell am I staying in my room and twiddling my thumbs. I told him right away that there was no chance that I was going to comply with his commandments, that company policy was clear that as long as there was no imminent safety risk, that we were free to do as we wished in our free time. To claim as safety required that he prove that his measures were necessary. I said, "This is not the military, you do not own all my time." So yay, off to a real great start. It was less than 2 weeks before it came to a head. We had gotten nothing done. Nothing. The manager refused to use the contacts I had acquired over the last year, instead preferring to go through official channels. So I started just doing stuff myself. I made the calls, I got the funding, hired contractors, etc. And went and saw my lady friend after hours. He had this really funny thing he did where he would yell at me for going behind his back but then put his name on my tickets and pass the work off as his own. I got sick of this, along with the crybaby brothers not doing anything. A shouting match ensued. I pointed out his glaring incompetence. He was mad that I didn't follow orders like a soldier. In the end, he got me fired. I tried to fight it, but apparently he was buddies with someone high up in the company. I had the last laugh though. Just before I turned in my laptop and cell phone I went through and deleted everything. Some of the files that I couldn't get in trouble for keeping I saved to my own computer. But the rest were gone. This was all my contacts, all my notes. How to get money, where to get contractors, private numbers for hundreds of people. In the hands of even a moderately competent person this was a goldmine of information. All gone. I spent a while just kind of floating around before eventually going home. Apparently as soon as I was gone the old manager opened up my laptop and went to go through all my files and was enraged that it was all gone. The whole team was eventually disbanded when after another 2 months they were still floundering, unable to accomplish anything. The next story is titled "It Finally Happened to Me." So this took place in a city in the UK with a large East Asian population. I'm of East Asian descent as well, and fit the demographic of the employees at a Japanese dessert shop that I had gone to with a friend. As we were getting ready to leave and I walked to the front of the store to bin a serviette, some customers walked into the store and immediately asked me if we were open. I told them that I don't work there but just had a Sunday, so they definitely were. The man who asked me looked so sheepish and apologized right away. Not a long story or a dramatic one, but I was so tickled that I finally have an experience to add to this subreddit. The next story is titled "Damn, I Forgot My Tie." Disclaimers. On mobile, non-English speaker. A bit of background. My wife and me run a small company that places nurses, EMTs and some doctors in workplaces, mostly factories and large construction sites. Everything was fine until 2020 happened. After the lift of the first lockdown, everybody and their cat, which are our true masters, wanted a nurse in their place of business. We were bombarded with offers, but we were really picky because a. There is a huge shortage of nurses and b. Most of the offers were for too little time and money. This happened in a contract we accepted. So, this posting is quite simple and relatively relaxed. A huge call center company hired us to place a nurse in their building to do tests and cover the occasional emergency. It does have the perks of other sites, food and fuel covered. In some cases they pay for an apartment. But it's Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock to 1500. Which is very helpful if you have a family. Also, because it's located downtown, you don't need to use a car. Last week, the nurse posted there called me that because a teacher at her kid's school tested positive, she was going on self-quarantine until the PCR results came back and needed someone to cover her shift for a couple of days. Since nobody else was available, I decided to cover for her. I arrive at the building at 7:30, wearing my royal blue scrubs. I clear my way through security and set up shop to the small room next to them. Since I still have time and I don't have a coffee with me, I decide to go grab one. The building has a kind of weird architecture. The ground floor is basically a huge corridor, about 50 meters in length and 15 meters wide. Access to the floors are thought stairs and 2 pairs of elevators at the end of the corridor on the left and right sides of the building. It has 8 floors, 4 belong to the call center company, the others divided between a shipping company and a high-power law firm. The elevators on the left side are used by the call center company. The ones on the right are used by the other 2. On the right corner of the corridor, just after the elevators, is an in-house coffee shop, which is my destination. As I reach it, I hear a female voice shrieking, "Excuse me." I turned around, thinking I cut the line, but no. Standing out from a small group of business suits, was a middle-aged woman dressed in a power suit, masked down and glaring daggers at me. Me. Yes? Power suit idiot, PB from now on. Where do you think you're going? Me. To grab some coffee? PB. No, I mean where do you think you're going dressed like that, pointing at my scrubs. I immediately look down to see if my scrubs are stained. Having a 5-yo that thinks everything is a napkin can make slightly paranoid about your clothes. Me. Relived I couldn't find any stains. What, my scrubs? PB. Yes, that sweatpants thing you're wearing. Waving her hand in disgust. We have a strict dress code in here. Go and change to something proper. Me. Finally catching up. Damn, I forgot my tie. PB. Don't be sarcastic. Go get changed and then come find me. We need to talk about your behavior. Me. Sorry madam, but these are my work clothes. I don't need to change. PB. You work for us, so you need to change. Almost shouting. Damn, that place has good echo. Me. Again madam, these are my work clothes. I don't work for you. I work for Company X, pointing to my company's name embroidered on the left chest. And I'm the nurse stationed on that cubicle over there doing COVID tests. Now excuse me, but I need some coffee. I walked and grabbed a coffee and by the time I was out, she had left. I called my nurse later that day to check on her and described the incident. Her reaction. Oh, you met Power idiot. She likes to do stuff like that to everybody. I covered the next also, my nurse and her family were negative, but the school was locked down for tracing and I let her spend the day with her kids, but this time I was prepared. As I was walking towards the coffee shop, I spotted PB waiting at the elevators. I waved at her, pulled one of my son's clip-on ties and put it on my scrubs. Unfortunately, her head didn't explode but her facial expression was priceless. The next story is titled I Was Just Trying to Get Past You. I was in a dollar store, roaming the aisles with my cart. There was a lady standing there looking at the soda pop, so to get past her I said pardon me. She moves and I carry on. Well, I realized I had forgotten to grab something from the same aisle, so I make my way back. She's still just standing there. She asks where something was and I said, oh I'm sorry, I don't know, I don't work here. She says, oh I thought because you said pardon me earlier that you did, my mistake. We both laughed a little and went our separate ways. It's not as crazy as some of these on here, but it baffles me because I was just trying not to be rude. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.